So I have actually managed to find the original disc copy of Oblivion in a second-hand shop. This is the 1.0 version of the game, no fixes, no updates, and I thought it'd be funny just to see how crazily glitchy it was. I've heard some absolute horror stories about the game back in the day, and most people probably haven't actually played this version of the game, because if you bought it on Xbox or if you bought it on Steam, the game would just automatically update. So the game is just over here, amongst a few other rare finds, which may turn into videos in the future. What we're going to have to do, guys, is actually go into the Middle Ages right now and insert this into a disk drive. But of course, computers don't come with disk drives anymore, so I had to get a USB one. Now let's have a look. Oh, there's something already in it. Right, yeah, I have no idea how that got in there. Anyway, we'll just gloss over that. Here we are. So we've got a little bit of a loading bar down there. And here is the installation wizard. Cool. I've never seen this before, actually. First time I ever played Oblivion was literally just on the Xbox. Oh, look at this. So this is an advert for the mobile game. Christ. Someone texted me. Go away, Paul. Yeah. I don't know if you guys remember the mobile game. It was complete crap. It didn't really have anything to do with Oblivion. It was a bit of a weird one. I'm getting a little bit of screen glare, so we're going to jump into the PC. Right, so I've got the game. We're going to boot it up. Let's see what happens if I just double click it. Medium quality. What I should be playing here is the music. One of the best soundtracks of all time. So if we go to data files, as we can see, absolutely no DLC at all. Let's go and see if the options settings were any different. Oh, look! Okay, now that is impressive. I can boot the game up in 2K, because I was going to be worried I was going to have to record this video like at 720p or something like that. But no, we're all good. So let's just blast everything up to full settings and call it a day. Is it going to crash, though? That is the thing. Is it going to crash? And this video will be over pretty quickly. Oh no, look, it boots up. There's no mods, that's why. Oh, there is no opening cinematic. There it is, boys. Raw, vanilla Oblivion. How glorious is that? Right. As you can see here on the bottom left, this is version 1.0.228, which I have looked up. That is the release version of Oblivion. The first patch that they introduced in 2006 actually was 1.1. So yes, we actually have the original version of the game. And the only way you're ever going to be able to get this version is you can probably download it, you can probably pirate it somewhere. But yeah, you need the disc, and I was so lucky to find it in that second-hand shop. So the first interesting thing I wanted to test is the much stricter punishment for getting expelled from the Mages Guild. So I proceeded to murder some unfortunate Mage Guild members, get the ingredients to rejoin the guild, and did this twice because you may know if you get expelled twice, there's no third chance to rejoin the guild. You are permanently expelled.
Worse, expelled.
But in the original version of the game, you were actually unable to enter the Mages Guild halls around Cyrodiil, so you no longer had access to their services. As you can see, as I join and enter the cell, I get booted out after about 3 seconds. Weirdly, the Dark Brotherhood also had a minor difference. If you killed a guild member and got kicked out of the guild, you could actually still progress the quest line. Another minor difference I noticed is there's no skill logos when you level up your skills to the next stage, like Journeyman Expert, etc. You just get the text. Those who played Oblivion back in the day probably have fond memories of the infinite gold glitches, and what if I told you there was actually 3 of them in the original game? Most people probably know by now the Dorian gold glitch. If you kill this NPC in his home and loot his gold, the gold would never disappear from his inventory, so you could just continuously loot the gold. His body would despawn, though the best way to do this would be to first bribe him, punch him in the face, bribe him, punch him in the face a little more, and at least do this a good 10 times. Then paralyze him so you could loot him, and now you can infinitely get 9k gold as often as you want, and you can keep coming back to do this without killing him. You just had to pay the 200 gold fine to say sorry to the Imperial Watch for punching one of their citizens repeatedly in the face. This was the best and easiest gold glitch from back in the day, but it did get patched along with this next gold glitch that was pretty good actually, but required you to complete a long quest chain with an irritating requirement. The Cure for Vampiring quest chain requires you to obtain 5 grand soul gems, but they have to be empty, and back in the day I never got past this part because I didn't know about websites like USEP, but I did know that there was an infinite gold glitch at the end of this quest because I read it on a cheat website. I actually went through the whole quest line just to show you this little bit of footage of what happens at the end of the quest. So after letting the Count grieve for his dead wife, he will then give you a gold reward, and beyond level 30 is actually 10,000 gold. Problem is that the reward dialogue option, it doesn't go away, so you can just infinitely click this to get infinite gold. And this was patched out of the game very, very quickly. Why is this guy here? That is so weird. And he's burning! This is so weird. This has never happened, but obviously because he's a vampire, he's burning in the sun. That's hilarious. But why has he followed me? That's so weird. Now he's giving me rumours on a different town that he's not actually in, and he's burning again in the sun. For the last gold glitch, we have to talk to an orc about a horse. It's probably the worst gold glitch, but it is an easy one. Simply equip a weapon, preferably over the value of 200 gold, mount your horse, and talk to Battlegra Sharon, and go to sell your weapon. You'll get an error message saying that you cannot unequip this weapon at this time, but for some reason you still get the gold inserted into your inventory for selling it, meaning you can just infinitely dupe gold. And you can get even more gold per sell using the investing method when you're like a journeyman in mercantile, or it might be an expert, can't remember. And now to enter the weird world of spell making glitches. Many of these got patched out of the game because the original version had absolutely chaotic results to the point where you could very easily crash your game with a simple jump. For some reason, when you use the weakness to magic effect on yourself with other positive buff effects in the same spell, the effect is magnified, meaning that the buff that you applied is magnified, and you can create multiple spells with the same effect. It multiplies to ludicrous amounts within the hundreds of thousands. I kinda went overboard on my first attempt and crashed the game, but on my second attempt I made a much more tame spell that only allowed me to jump across the entire Imperial City. And when you put Fortify Magicka in these spells, that effect also gets buffed to the point where you have hundreds of thousands of Magicka, meaning that you basically have infinite Magicka. There was also another way to get infinite Magicka, so when Mysticism was maxed out at level 100, the cost of a telekinesis spell was very, very low. So you could exploit the game into giving you infinite mana as long as you had a spell absorption effect, whether that's from items or spells or the Atronach birth sign. Then you could just put telekinesis on, because when you cast telekinesis, the cost is less than what you get back from spell absorption, effectively allowing you to have infinite mana, because you could just put a telekinesis effect on every single spell that you wanted and it would just give you all of the mana back. We all probably know by now the duplication glitches in Oblivion, but did you actually know that originally this was only possible with a bow and arrows? It could be done very easily also to turn enchanted rings into permanent buffs, permanent stats on your character. Simply draw your bow, go to the character menu, click your arrows twice, then go to drop the item you want to duplicate, and the number of arrows you had equipped will be the amount of times that the item gets duplicated. Then you use this trick to duplicate rings with the same enchant. You equip the ring, then duplicate the version of the ring not equipped, and then the enchant of the ring would permanently be assigned onto your character. If you go to the active spell menu, it's there even though you've not got the ring equipped. But you couldn't then re-equip the same ring, so you'd have to make a new ring and then so on and so forth to make more permanent enchants. And if you did this with a Calmelian enchant, if you got it over 100 points, you are basically immortal, because no NPC in the game can actually see you. Or you could do this with something like reflect damage to never take any damage. In the original build of Oblivion, there's also a number of out-of-bounds areas, particularly in the Imperial City, where you could just jump over the walls very, very easily. But the one that gives you the biggest advantage in the game would be the one within the arena. You see, if you jumped high enough on the archway, you could just go back through the wall, and then with spells or a bow, you could just cheese the whole arena questline, because they couldn't get into melee range of you, and you could just continue to take them down from above that archway. Let me know in the comment sections down below of any glitches or weird stuff that I've missed, and I'll do it in a follow-up video. Be sure to subscribe for that follow-up video, and I may also do a leveling challenge where I try and obviously complete the game, because as you know, the longer a save game exists in this game, the more and more crazy and glitchy that the game gets, and I may involve some kind of penalty for every glitch that we see, like the Spiffing Brit did in one of his videos for Skyrim, something like that. But anyway guys, until my next video, my name is A Night Goblin. Ciao.